Hello, hello. Happy Book Club Day, everybody. Welcome to our June meeting of Trail of the Lost. Thank you guys so much for being here. There are so many comments already. Hi, hello, hello, hello. What's going on? Hello. Hi, friends. Hi, friends. Hey, David. Love you, David. Oh my goodness. Hello, hello, hello. Actually liked it a lot more. Okay, I'm so excited to get into this because from what I have heard at some of our chapter meetings, this has been a pretty divisive pick. So I'm very excited to hear what you guys have to say. And I will introduce all of our guests here very soon. But first of all, thank you for joining us. This is the Morbidly Curious Book Club. We are an 18 plus nonfiction only book club that dives into the darker macabre parts of your library. So if you had just like stumbled upon this on YouTube, I'm so sorry, but welcome. It's a good time, I promise. So we discuss one book per month at the end of the month. And again, like I said, this is a June discussion. Very excited to dive into this. Again, pretty divisive pick. Just some housekeeping things. First and foremost, we are live on YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. If you guys have any questions, comments, or concerns, we will see them. But this also is going to just stay on our socials for a while until I delete everything one day. I'm just kidding. I won't do that. But this will be up. So if you have any questions after the fact, I will see them. But please feel free to chat in the comments. We will be going over some general questions, just like overall thoughts of the book, and then we'll deep dive into more specifics. But wherever you're joining, hello, welcome. I do not see comments on, so we use StreamYard. I do not see comments from Instagram, so I do have to kind of manually hop back and forth between where we are here on StreamYard to Instagram. Thank you, Chris. Hi. Thank you for confirming. Hi, Chris. Actually, honey, if you want to come in here, we're going to go ahead and try something out really quick. If you're still watching, thank you so much for being here. So I do have to kind of hop back and forth, but I will see your comments. Other housekeeping things, if you go to the morbidlycuriousbookclub.com, love you, David. If you go to the morbidlycuriousbookclub.com, you will get all of the goodies from our book box subscription service, where you can get the book club picks sent right to your door, along with stickers and goodies, merchandise, which I put in like a big, I figured I needed more merch for my own book club. I just put in like a massive order to get like some t-shirts, some sweatshirts, but you've got our Western Carolina shirt on, which we were giving money to Hurricane Helene survivors. And yes, hello from Morbidly Curious Triangle chapter. We do have chapters around the world. So if you guys would like to join an in-person group, which is what I was referring to earlier, you can definitely do that. Hello, Tam. Hello. So all of that is on our website, including some other goodies. I just recently became an affiliate with Modern and Chic, which is like a purse company that is like a great company to where you could like, they really advertise how you can put books in the purse. So we have a way to save you guys some money. Collaborations with jewelers in the area who have made earrings for us. There's so many things over at the morbidlycuriousbookclub.com. So if you would like to head on over there and join. We also just wrapped up. The last Sunday of every month is going to be a little bit crazy because we just wrapped up before this at 5 o'clock Eastern time, the Patreon book club. So we are over on Patreon, where we have a Morbidly Curious Fiction Edition book club where we spoke about Lord of the Flies. I don't know where I put my book, but that was our June pick. So we discussed Lord of the Flies, which was really interesting discussion. And then we also at 9 o'clock, right after this, the Patreon discusses a spicy book. So that is a new thing that we have recently incorporated. So if that's of interest at all to you, again, that's all of that is over on the website. So first things first, I want to introduce our friends. I want to grab Christopher because we're going to try something here pretty soon. And I want to go ahead and do this while Christopher is still awake before he taps out for the night. I'm Patricia. Again, hello. I'm the owner and the host of the Morbidly Curious Book Club. Thank you so much for being here. And I'm joined by Ashley.
Hello, everyone. I'm Ashley, or Bookish Backcountry Belle on Discord.
Discord. If you would like the link to Discord, that is on the pinned messages. So you do have to join the book club first on the book club's website. And then on the pinned messages where it says like start here in capital letters, kind of explaining how everything works, you will find the Discord link there. But go ahead. Next. I'm going to keep calling you Gazelle because I made that mistake one time and now it's stuck.
Hi, I'm Giselle. I'm from Southern California, and I'm excited to join as a guest host today.
Yes. And you frequent the LA chapter, yes?
Yes, I haven't been able to go a lot in person, but me and Tam, the chapter head in LA, are like this.
Yes. We love Tam. Alyssa, go ahead down the line here.
I'm Alyssa. I've been here before. I am the new chapter head for Fort Worth, which hasn't met yet, but we will soon.
Yay! Love it. Kelsey, you're still here with us. Can you see us? Can you hear us?
I was like, am I? if you can see and hear me, then we're doing as well as one can hope for. I am having technical issues out the wazoo. My name is Kelsey. I've also been here before. Excited to chat with everyone, and I'm not a chapter head, so I don't have that exciting bit of lore fuck.
Yes, Elizabeth, it's called Modern and Chic. If you go to our website and click on the logo, and just it's the code is just Morbidly Curious, and it saves you some money. And Kimberly.
I'm Kimberly. I am in the Northern California region in the Sacramento chapter, and I've been here once before. So
Love it. And from what I remember, please correct me if I'm wrong, Ashley and Kimberly are going to be our hiker professionals on this group chat, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. Kimberly is actually, you've hiked some of the Pacific Crest Trail, right?
very little of it, like 15 miles. So
Okay, that's still more than I. Jesus.
That's
Casually
the Appalachian Trail.
Yeah,
and
casually.
honestly, maybe a combined 20. Like some up in Oregon and some here in Donner Pass up in Northern California.
Oh, that's
See,
another.
now I'm jealous.
That's another rabbit hole we can
That's
go
the one I
down.
want to go on.
Yeah. Yeah.
I am
So
taking our northern group has decided to hike over there, so we'll have to send some spooky photos when we go through the tunnels there. Yeah.
right, 15 miles, babes. That's more than I've done in my entire life. So again, we're discussing Trail of the Lost, which is our June book. This is the relentless search to bring home the missing hikers of the Pacific Crest Trail. Now, something that was mentioned, we're jumping a little ahead here, but like I said, I wanted to grab Christopher while we still have him. Something that was mentioned in this book, which turns out I live very close to. I have not been to in a long time, but we did go recently. Apparently, if you turn like left out of my driveway for like, I don't know, 7 or 8 miles, you wind up at a Yellow Deli. So we have the Yellow Deli here in Hidnight, North Carolina, and I did buy a mug. But while I was there, of course, I had to pick up some green bars. So we are going to try them. I bought 2. I have not opened these yet. I'm really nervous. This one's already broken, so I think I'm going to open this first. But Christopher said he wanted to try these as well. So the green bars were mentioned, jog my memory, in the book. Andrea tried them.
I think so, yeah.
Okay. And she said that they were good, no good. I can't remember at all.
But when you've been on a
I feel
trail,
like she thought they were good.
it doesn't matter.
Yeah, you're hungry either way. So this is Green Superfoods Yerba Mate protein. What the hell's in it? Oh, it's got peanut butter, honey, organic oats, pure maple syrup, a bunch of other stuff. A lot of just organic stuff. While we were also there at the Yellow Deli, they did have a machine where you can make your own peanut butter. It was just like a bunch of peanuts and like grind it up into peanut butter bars. We got some because, of course, it was okay. It's all right. I'm just going to text Chris so I don't have to get up. Come in here. He's sitting right there, but he's not going to hear me. Okay, let's try these. Ooh.
Oh, gosh.
Smell that. It's like very pure, dirty.
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this.
So close the door.
It's so big.
Yeah, these are really thick and they're very cool.
It's not 2 bars,
Give that a
that's
sniff.
1 bar.
Give it a sniff.
Okay, it smells like a Cliff Bar.
It does. That's
smells like a
exactly
Clif
what it
Bar.
smells like. Yeah.
There you go. Bottoms up. You can have the big piece.
Okay.
Hope I just dropped some. All right. Here.
I don't hate it.
I don't hate it.
I don't either. It's soft.
Really?
Perfect.
That's very good.
It's really good. It's
Okay.
like peanut buttery, nutty, super soft.
Kim said that looks not good. Yeah, so these are the green bars from the Yellow Deli. The Colt mentioned in
I would eat
the
that.
Colt.
Yeah.
This
Oh,
is
yeah.
very good.
I would eat that on the trail.
Mm.
Yeah, well, absolutely. Absolutely.
Okay, so I need to just check out that cart and get those cases of it.
Really good, but the
It does have a weird aftertaste.
I'm letting this settle.
they look like this now. Yeah. So the photo you see online is a little bit different. That's very peanut buttery.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, I would hate that.
Yeah.
It's very peanut
If
buttery.
you don't like peanut butter, you would not like this. But here's it just looks like
It's not
green
good.
shit. Like it's not doing it any justice.
Rats?
Looks like an
It looks
alfalfa
like-
lick. from a farm.
Some more.
Would like another bite.
You would like another bite? Here, this is falling apart. You just eat that.
It's
I was
softer
gonna say peanut butter covers all sins.
Way
So.
softer
than I
Cliff Bar.
expected.
Mm-hmm.
I was expecting
It's like
crunch.
firm.
Yeah,
Firm substance.
like those Quest protein bars that are like.
Like it's like soft and like I said, it's creamy.
Yeah, it's pretty creamy.
It's creamy.
And it grows on you.
Yeah. Yeah.
It grows on you.
It grows on you.
It's very good.
That's pretty
That's actually, I was expecting this to be like a bit
I
where
know.
all of us are like throwing up.
good.
No, this is delicious. Damn. Should have bought more. Anyway,
Well, it's right on the road.
all
Yeah,
right.
you can just go
So
to the
if we
store
need, we
anytime
need
you
to go
want.
get some more, it's just
Yeah,
right down the road.
it's literally right.
The Colt is right there.
It's literally right there.
Right there.
Yeah, so
How many
Christopher
grams
and I
of
were-
protein is in a bar? Does it say on the package?
There.
6.
6.
It's 2 servings though,
Oh,
Oh wow.
wow. So 12 if you get a whole bar.
440 calories. That's definitely a good hiking,
hiking.
caloric intake.
It's only got 22 grams of carbs.
That's not bad.
Oh.
That's not bad.
I'm just here snacking on it now. I was like pretty apprehensive about going because
It's cool.
the yellow deli, yes, literally grows on you. Yeah. Yeah, on a trail, it's very dense. Thanks. Bye. I love you.
Thanks, bye, I love you.
It doesn't have that dense texture though.
It does not have that dense texture. So I was a bit apprehensive about going to the yellow deli because historically in the past they have not had like, I don't know, the best history, like viewpoints. They've gotten into some trouble. But I was talking to Andrea for the podcast, which by the way, wherever you listen to podcasts, I did talk to Andrea. It's a pretty short episode. And she was like, "Oh, you got to go and you got to take pictures of the boys with you." I did not because I do not suspect that they wound up in North Carolina. Plus, I did not see a lot of men when I was there. It was mostly women. But we decided to go because I have had Yellow Deli in the past. Their Reubens are fantastic, but Christopher got the Reuben and I got like this salmon sandwich. It was very good. And they have root beer on tap in a frosted mug.
I'm so
Root beer on
tempted
tap.
to drive out and go that way.
Yeah, it's literally
Home.
7, and it's open 24 hours, so you could go at any time. They have breakfast, they have all kinds of stuff. It's very good. And I filmed a video for the Patreon because I do reading vlogs where I film myself reading the books and giving you like live feedback. And I filmed while I was there because they have like, it's 3 tiers, like it's a 3-story building. And they have like these dumb waiters that they like send food up to the 3rd floor. And I mean, it's a crazy operation. So that will be on the Patreon when I'm able to edit that. But anyway, thank you for going on that journey with us. It was actually very good. This is actually very tasty. I'm going to keep snacking on it. It's quite, I like peanut butter, so that's probably why. Let's dive into the book though. I would love to hear, we'll go in order here from G to Alyssa, Kelsey, Kimberly. We'll start here. Actually, you're right here. Actually, never mind. We'll start here. It's the first time I've had somebody with me in person. Thoughts on the book. We'll just go overall thoughts on the book. And if you rate it either out of 5 or out of 10, what would you rate it? Would you read from this author again? She did send me her other books. I do plan on reading those at some point, but overall thoughts. Let's go into that.
I've had the book on my Kindle for a while,
Same.
but I am a very avid and frequent backpacker and hiker. And so I decided I didn't want to read it because, I do hike the Appalachian Trail a lot as well as other trails in the Western North Carolina area. But I did go ahead. I dived into it. I listened to it and read it at the same time. So I enjoyed the narrator. And for these books, it makes it kind of hard for me to rate it because I'm like, I wasn't in that situation with everything going on. My overall thoughts are though, is that there's so many barriers that the families have to overcome to just get the help that they're supposed to be getting. That was extremely frustrating for me. the fact that, they couldn't even go in and make wanted posters, right? They had to go and make their own posters because the the law enforcement agencies over there didn't want anything to do with it. And then the hiking organization, or for the Pacific Crest Trail, they're like, well, they're more concerned about people who were not missing on the trail, and they were no help either. So it really opened up your eyes as far as the barriers that people run into when someone goes missing, because it's not just when they go missing on the Appalachian Trail or the PC tree.
Red tape.
It's just everywhere.
Yeah.
But 3 out of 5, 3.75 for me.
That's about where I was. I gave it a 3.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like that seems to be the case. I haven't seen too many 5 stars in the chat. Definitely let me know what you thought in the chat as well. Gigi, thoughts and feels?
I appreciate the vision, but I did feel a bit disjointed, which of course that makes sense. It is like a lot of unknowns, and we're kind of going into all the theories of like what happened. So I guess like out of 5, I would say like a 3, like somewhere in the middle. It just felt a little bit disjointed, and at times I got a little lost trying to keep track of everything, which can happen in nonfiction books in general, but I just think it could have been better, like thoroughly threaded.
Totally. And this brings up a good point. Leanne talking about the Doge cuts as well. Like that's just going to be a nightmare on a whole other level, for sure.
Yeah.
But agreed. I mean, there were parts where I was expecting her to put it into like 3 sections, like follow each hiker, but I understand at times there were times where she needed to kind of blend the stories together because they would overlap a bit, but otherwise I was like, this could have been in sections of sorts. So agreed. Alyssa, thoughts and feels?
I feel like I'm kind of a little bit of an outlier. I did not enjoy this book
That's
at all. And I don't feel bad for not enjoying it. I just it was the lack of organization, like you guys were saying. I feel like it should have been organized by hiker with like some blend would have been fine, but with an overarching concept of like each section being about each case and what happened, and then having recurring characters come up would have been more like coherent to me. Because I kept being like, wait, who are we talking about now? Like, which hiker are we talking about? I didn't mind the writing style at all, so I don't think I would be willing to read other books by her. I just didn't enjoy this one as much. And the fact that like it's like the Relentless Search, but it's not really relentless because you stopped because you didn't find anything. Yeah. Sorry, spoiler alert.
Well, that was so. Both of it I'm in the greater Charlotte area, and for the most part, and I've done a couple chapters both in Charlotte, Belmont, and the Mooresville one is tomorrow, and that seems to be so free. Like people are really upset that they did not find these hikers because in the introduction she does say, and people were confused. She says, it's actually a blue tab here. Bye. 3 families learned what happened to their missing loved ones. And so a lot of people were like, wait, what? We didn't find them? So that is very true. That is very true. It might have felt repetitive. 2 guys named Chris as well.
That's why I had to go to the audiobook. Like I couldn't read it through just the Kindle because there was a lot of disjointed sections for me.
I will say her other book, Ranger Confidential, I started glancing through it, and it's pretty interesting because it's like her stories of stuff that she's experienced as a park ranger, and I think that people would like it a lot. No, I'm so glad if you liked it, but if you didn't like it, I totally understand for sure. Kelsey, thoughts and feels?
I think I liked it overall. I think I gave it a 4 out of 5. Because I thought the information was good. I liked her as a narrator. Like I love Kathy. Like, give me a book about her. But
yeah,
I agree. To kind of parrot everybody else, I just thought it was like super disjointed. I think I got to the end and I still couldn't keep 2 of the Chris's separate, but that might have been a me problem. But it just, she would jump and she's like in 2016 and then in 2018, but now back in 2016, but a year later, and I'm like, I can't keep track of what you all are doing in a chronological order. So
Right.
info was good. I don't know when any of the info happened, but
Understood. Yeah. Kim, how are we feeling?
I kind of agree with everyone. It was really unorganized. I wish they kind of did it per hiker and, just kind of filter in a little information, but 3 out of 5 for me. And I guess my takeaway is I no longer want to hike the PCT or have anything to do with it as a goal. So there's that, I guess. So yeah, it just seemed real unorganized. I have to kind of agree with some of the comments and what everyone else has said, that it was hard to follow through for sure.
That happens so often. People at the chapter meetings were telling me that they stopped halfway and started just Google search whether or not these people were found, because they did not, the anxiety was killing them. And I was like, really? I agreed. Yes, that's a good point. Often romanticized career for sure, because she sees some crazy stuff there. Mm-hmm. Okay, so we're across the board here. I like that. I dig it. No updates. Yeah, there really haven't been any. No. David says, "Stay indoors, folks." Well, I'm curious. So, was I correct with you got Gigi, Alyssa, and Kelsey? Are you guys avid hikers at all, or is it kind of meh?
Not now as an adult. When I was a kid, I did a lot of Girl Scouts and I hiked a lot, like middle and high school era, but not at all as an adult.
Okay. I've done some hiking. I'm just not super experienced, and also I am out of shape, so I take a lot of breaks. I must have patient hiking buddies.
I've done some, but I also have a fear of I don't have a fear of heights. I have a fear of falling. So anything that's super narrow kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies. So that's something we're working through.
When I lived in LA, I did the Runyon Canyon and some of those more popular Instagram locations, as I called them. There were nothing compared to some of the stuff here. But as hikers, so I'm curious, both Ashley and Kimberly, and I know we've talked about this already before, but for the live show, how did you feel as a hiker reading this? Kimberly's already joking that she's like, I don't know if PCT is for me anymore. I'm assuming this hasn't steered you away from hiking, but how did you feel as a hiker reading this book?
So as she was talking about the victims, the lost, right?
Yeah.
I've run into a lot of through hikers that are doing the AT, because we live literally, it's right there.
Yeah.
So most of our trails are like right there along the AT, and you run into through hikers all the time. But I feel that she made a good point in that if you're looking at the hikers who die on the trail, it's a majority of men. Not to make it a gender thing, but to her point, women are more cautious when they go out and hike, because we have to be cautious every moment of the day almost. And so for me as a hiker, as I'm listening to their stories and how it began, I'm like, but why would you do that? Like, there is a better way to approach that. And the trail will humble you. It quick, like 30 seconds in, and you can be like, do I really still want to do this? But it's just, it's the majority of, and when you look up hikers that are missing, it's the majority of male hikers.
It is interesting.
That die on the trail or go missing.
I know we're going to get into GPS stuff later, because I'm curious as to your thoughts on that and other people. Mountain lions are a big factor for sure.
No, mountain lions are a thing in North Carolina, but I found that out.
I think we have a little bit of everything here, including the Bigfoot.
Yeah,
and some of
we got Nobby around here somewhere.
Some of the National Geographic still needs to come see what we've got going on here, because there's some creatures out there that I don't think people have discovered yet.
Nope.
Kimberly, thoughts as a hiker reading this book, as far as you're like, I don't know if PCT is for me now. This has made me a little wary.
I think it's always you always have an end game in a sport or hobby, and ours was, we're going to do the PCT, my hiking partner and I. And after kind of looking into it, we just didn't think we could, there's a whole thing, but I know now it's not for me. Maybe little sections of it here or there that we touch on current trails, but I'm like, this is not a journey that I want to do, because as the book was, it's like you can be any sort of level of a hiker and stuff happens, right? Like people get hurt. She got hurt out there, like a fire starts. That was, always up here in California, that's a concern. It's just like you said, the trail will humble you real quick. You get out there and you don't realize like, oh no, I'm in for a thing. And then, you were lucky you got through sometimes, but a lot of people are not prepared. And that's kind of what this book kind of shows. People were joining the PCT because of the book Wild or the movie, and then they have zero experience and they're just like, let's go do this thing. And it's like, that's not safe. You don't know, and there's desert and, elements. And so I think a lot of times people are not prepared properly, and that's where you get in trouble. I'm one of those that packs for 3 days of supplies just in case. You never know, even if it's a day hike. And there's been times on the trail where people are out of water. They don't have electrolytes. They didn't bring food. They need a Band-Aid, or they have a blister. And like, you're like, here you go. I got this and that. And there's always surprised how much stuff you have. But a lot of times I don't think people are prepared. It's always those memes that, you get passed by the kid in Crocs and pajama pants. And that's like reality out there sometimes. But
it's 100% that I see people pass me who are obviously very underprepared for any sort of hike, and I'm like, oh, this is just going to end so badly.
Yes. Yeah.
So badly.
Yeah. So it's this book kind of just put that reality in that, the trail gives and it takes real quick too. So that's why I'm like, we scale back a little bit. We don't need to be crazy. I'm not young anymore. So the PCT is out. I no longer have that dream. So
right.
Kind of, and going missing isn't really something I want on my bingo card at all.
Correct.
Meanwhile, I still want to go.
Yeah. You do?
I do.
I'm not going to stop hiking, but I'm not going to not do that whole through hike. No.
I mean, so much can go wrong too, just like Andrea was experiencing as well. Like my ankles are as weak as twigs. I mean, if I just step on the wrong thing, just walking upstairs the other day, I like tweaked my ankle. And I know something bad would go wrong. But also in the Charlotte meeting, people were talking a lot about how they've either been hiking in, bad weather, snow, and like how easy it is to go
get lost,
get off the trail, and how hard it is to, get back on. Another thing too, that we're not even talking about the elements, you're talking about through hikers too, just people. That seemed to be brought up a lot in this book as well, where there are some people that you are unsure of that are on the trail with you. As women, we're like, I don't want to run into some, just guy on the trail. That's horrifying, who has like alternative motives, which is brought up in this book as well. That's just so scary to me. Love that. Yeah. Was it, whose mom was like, hey, Chris, call me at the end of all of her posts to her missing kid? That always was a pang in the heart, where she was like, hey, Chris, give me a call. I think that might have been Sally. So there's a bunch of really interesting characters in this book. Did we have favorites? Okay, Sally. Yeah, that's what I thought. Yeah. Oh, yeah. Super scary. Like people make me so nervous. Even just like
the trolls, it's a real thing. Being in the hiking community, you're either going to have something that swings far to one side or far to the other side. Mm-hmm. So you're either going to have those who are extremely supportive, and it's like a trail family, or a tramley is what they like to call them. And you could start with a group of people and then end up with a completely different group of people, like not even halfway through the trail. Yeah. And so, but the trail trolls, they're a real thing, and they are creepy.
Very.
Run into a couple myself, and it's just
calling them trolls feels insufficient.
100%. Like
real ghouls.
And I agree about Kathy. I know, Kelsey, you were talking about Kathy earlier. There's a bunch of different characters that we meet in this book. Did we have some favorites? Did we have some people we were weird about? I know Josh was an interesting character in this book. Anybody that we feel a certain way about?
The bear hunter.
Ooh, yep.
Yeah. The bear hunter is not innocent, in my opinion.
Bear hunter's got some skeletons in his closet for sure. Mm-hmm. Gigi, thoughts and feels on the characters in this book?
Can you circle back to me? I gotta think a little bit more about it.
All good. Alyssa?
I didn't really have any favorites, but I thought Kathy was really interesting.
Yeah.
Like I would read, somebody said like I would 100% watch a reality show about Kathy. Same.
Yep, exploitation. Any other thoughts and feels on Kathy, Kelsey, or is there anybody else that you wanted to?
No, well, just Kathy and Sally. And then never have I wanted to reach through the pages of a book and strangle somebody worse than I think it was that, I'm going to butcher his first name, that Alfred Bass, who
Yep,
made
Dr. Ross.
the machine.
The toenail machine? Yeah.
Yup. His name came back up like later in the book, and I'm like, oh no, the rage is back.
Yeah. And what I'm calling the Morbidly Curious verse, because I think he showed up in Stiff. Or there was at least a character in this book that was also brought up in Stiff. And I'm like, oh, yeah, that's going to happen.
There was one, yeah.
And then also Joseph Lister, who is the subject of our next book, was brought up pretty recently, too. I can't remember who from, but...
all the
I
psychic.
noticed that, but now I'm just like, what's the morbid crossover? Because
yeah.
It's like, why are we seeing these people again and again?
Yeah. Thank you, Tori. Kimberly, any specific characters that you found interesting, weird, unredeemable?
I definitely it was fascinating to me. The cult was out there just kind of wandering the trail. I know there's always some kind of crazy thing out there that people have experienced, but like that surprised me that I'm like, no matter where you go, like there's always something, right? And then
they would like be mischievous about it and make it seem like it was divine intervention that they kept running into you.
Yeah, and people are tired and hungry out there, so why not try, right? So
right.
Yeah, that was a little shocking to me.
Yeah, something that David said up here earlier, the exploitation of people grieving is just so gross. Agreed. Like psychics in general. And it really upset me when there was that one psychic, I think her name was Pam,
yes,
who said something along the lines of like, the reason we aren't finding your kid is because you're not ready to find your kid.
No.
Are you kidding me?
I think I would have punched somebody at that point.
But also it really bothered me that I think she told Kathy that. Kathy did not need to tell the mom that she said that. she didn't need to carry that message along.
She didn't.
It's like people came out of the woodwork for sure.
Just the audacity.
The audacity. Yeah. Audacity is free this year, as they say.
Right.
So one thing that also came up at some of the chapter meetings too, that I thought was a really interesting topic that I brought up, but I was not expecting it to be as divisive as a topic as it was the whole idea of GPS tracking. So nowadays we don't just have one of those trail log books, which we still do, but we don't just have those now. Nowadays we are able to strap a GPS on a person and follow them. And I thought that it was interesting that Andrea, the author, actually was not very pro GPS tracker. I thought that it was an interesting take, which she does kind of backtrack on the podcast a little bit when I spoke with her. But it was interesting as well because in the Charlotte meeting, you did bring up that you have a GPS tracker. So I do want to talk about that also with not only our thoughts and feelings of that, but as a hiker, both you and Kimberly would love to hear your thoughts, because Andrea Lankford said, it feels it's a bit smothering. So you do have a GPS tracker though. Walk me through why you got that and why do you think that's become it's interesting too. Sorry, I keep backtracking. I was actually just finished Into Thin Air by John Krakauer too, which loved. But another topic that I was not expecting to be as divisive was the idea of using oxygen. And that's similar vibes to this, where people were like, you don't need oxygen to climb to Everest. Well, I guess not. But if you'd like to live, you should.
Oh, yeah.
So it's interesting to me that some people are opting out of GPS. Now, I understand why some people don't want to be followed all the time. I get it. So if somebody with one, though, walk us through that thought process, if you don't mind.
So I am not a fan of GPS tracking, believe it or not. I have been hiking for 4 to 5 years now, and I just now got one last year.
Okay.
So I did not have one before. I typically go hiking with a good friend of mine. And so she had one. And so I didn't feel the need for myself. However, I do see the purpose.
Sure.
Because no one wants to be tracked. I mean, I go out there to disconnect. I don't want to be, I typically try to choose trails that are not the very popular, widely known trails in the area. because I like to have more of that quietness. However, I've got family and loved ones, and let's face it, not everyone who walks the trail is a nice person. And so as I am going on these trips to help disconnect and help kind of reground myself and kind of recenter, I also know that if something happened to me, my family would be devastated.
Sure.
I also have little ones who want to go hiking and backpacking with me, but I refuse to take them on a trail that either I haven't done before or without having some bailout button in case something happens. Because you can be prepared as much as you can possibly be prepared for, but it's gonna change.
Okay.
So
somebody brought up a good point here in the comments where they said it's probably less about tracking, more about just having an ability to be saved.
Yeah.
Because when you get, so I have a Garmin InReach, and when you sign up for that,
So she goes,
you also get search and rescue insurance that you renew every year.
No kidding.
Yep. It comes
Because that's
with it.
not cheap.
No, it's not. I went hiking with a friend of mine and my friend, and we were hiking. We got to where we needed to go to, and we were looking for a campsite, and I rolled my ankle so bad I almost did not make it off the mountain. But I also didn't have search and rescue insurance, so I was going to take myself down that mountain one way or the other. And after that, I'm like, nope, it's time for me to get something for the just in case.
Gigi, any thoughts on GPS tracking or Andrea's take on GPS tracking in the book?
Sorry, I just read that comment about being tracked by the cartel. I was like,
I missed it. Did I pull it up?
yeah, from Gwen.
Oh my god.
I was like,
oh my.
I just threw that up on the screen because I saw she said tracked. Gwen said tracked, and I was like,
that's why I looked so shocked. I mean, I feel like it's a kind of a topsy-turvy subject in general, because obviously I'm not a super experienced hiker, so I feel like I would probably want that peace of mind that somebody knew where I was. And I would never go alone. Obviously, I know I cannot go alone because I am not that nature savvy. I'd have to go with people that were like more experienced than me.
Totally.
So on one note, I definitely think there's a necessity for it for life. Just in case, like, because you just never know what could happen. But on the other hand, I do understand the intricacies that has to do with like privacy and, that we're already like tracked so much. So I see both sides of the picture.
Yeah, totally. Alyssa, same thoughts?
Yeah, I ain't really got a dog in this fight, but like, I think if I were to do a longer hike, like doing a through hike or something, I would want to have it. But the hikes that I go on are like little baby hikes where it's not entirely necessary, or it's not, I mean, I'm sure it would still be good just in case something happened, but like, I don't really need it. But I totally understand if I had a family member who was going on a through hike, I would be like, you're going to wear a GPS tracker and you're going to like it.
Right.
I always joke around and I send you a text message, just in case I die, this is where I started at.
That's very true. Does help. Kelsey, thoughts?
I know too many morbid things about the world to not want myself tracked if I'm out in the middle of nature. So that's my feeling on the matter as a non-hiker of any meaningful kind. But yeah, and I suppose it's some ignorance on my part, because I was wondering like what the spectrum of like GPS devices is. Because when Kathy talked about the one she had, it seemed pretty like involved, and there were a lot of functions and a lot of things you could do with it. And so in my head, I'm like, is there like the equivalent of like an air tag you can just like throw in your bag and like someone can at least like ping your GPS if they need to? Or
basically, right?
That's
but
ignorance on my part that I don't know what the GPS technology looks like.
So the one that I have, it tracks like each point and it puts it on a map. And then you can send updates to a certain list of people.
So if you haven't responded in like 2 hours and you were supposed to hit this point.
Exactly. And so where I hike, we don't always have service. It's even with the iPhone, the feature on the iPhone where you can do the satellite communication. here in the South, there's trees everywhere, and you need a clear view of the sky, and you're probably not going to get a clear view of the sky
Not on the
at
Appalachian
any
Trail,
point.
not.
So it's got an SOS button that allows me to send check-ins to people and to track where I'm going.
Good point, Nora,
And I-
as well.
And I
Go ahead.
wondered that too, if there wasn't something that wasn't quite a GPS tracker, but more of a like the oh shit button of like, I need help.
Yeah.
And if that would be
Yeah.
like a more acceptable solution to a lot of people. If it's not tracking you all the time, but
Same.
then also knowing what can happen out there, I imagine you don't always have time to hit the oh shit button. So I don't think there's a perfect system.
Yeah, and I do track my family, everybody, on Life 360, and that sometimes has even failed. Like when Chris got into an accident, it didn't warn me, and that's like one of their big features. And like, we let you know if somebody got in an accident, and it did not notify me when he got in an accident. Kim,
Yeah.
you have a GPS.
So recently, yes.
Okay.
I do old school, like, hey, I'm going, I tell my husband I'm here. I should be done by this time. If you don't hear from me, something's wrong. A lot of times on the trail, I will track how long it takes me to get like an hour or, how much I can hike in that amount of time. So I can be like, estimate, I should be done by X time. And so it's like, if I'm not back by this time, something's wrong. Start calling. But I usually tell 3 people just in case, because maybe someone didn't get the message, someone's phone's off or something, and no one's looking. But I'm not against GPS, but someone mentioned in the comments there is a huge cost to it, like the Garmin InReach. As much as that's the most popular thing on, popular, it's $400 to get it. And then there's a subscription service. So you pay $40 a month for it to keep all those features going. Then it costs extra to like send text messages or message, it's like there's a lot of cost to it.
And you have to renew it every year. So the $40 that you sign up for, you have to pay it again.
Damn.
Yep. And so there's activation like you just mentioned. And so you're like, well, I think the old school send the pigeon way is a lot cheaper and like just, shoot, roll the dice, which I know isn't smart, but some of these trails out here, like there is no cell phone, nothing. I mean, there's, you don't get anything. I don't even know if the SOS works. All Trails is not reliable when there's no service. It will show you way over back home before long. Oh, don't get me started on All Trails.
Never reliable. This says 10 miles. You've got 15 to go.
What's the T? Tell us the T. Is it just inaccurate? It sounds like
it is.
Like it. How do we explain All Trails? So their rating system is different than everyone else's as far as easy, moderate, and hard hikes go, because they go by elevation, not by the trail's flat. Like, like easy means like, oh, it's a walking path. It shouldn't be, but theirs is like, I think up to 1,200 foot elevation gain. And then it goes to the next tier. So people go out and it's like, here's the start, go. And people that are beginning are like, this is not, it's, yes, it will get you lost. It doesn't show you proper trails sometimes. I've downloaded the map and it's still wrong.
Saying, yeah, I know where the next bar is at. It could be 5 miles. It could be 10 miles down the way.
Yeah. Why is that so wildly inaccurate? It seems like a pretty popular app, though.
Because they want you to sign up for the subscription so you can download the actual map and have it on your phone. But All Trails, I have not found an instance where All Trails is 100% accurate.
Huh.
In fact, I did a hike that was only supposed to be 6 miles, and it turns out it's 14 miles. I was not happy that day because I was only ready to do a day hike, and that was a very long day hike, and I think I cried when I got back to my car.
I've had that experience too, because we've even done let's pay for it because it's that $15 for the year, thing they'll do. Yeah. Even the map's not correct. Even if you pay for it, the features were not accurate. So
I resorted to actually making my own maps using the Gaia GPS. That's the app that I use now, because I haven't gotten lost with that.
All Trails. What was that?
I haven't gotten lost with Gaia GPS, but it does require you to go in and actually make your trail yourself. But it will help navigate you on there. But yeah, All Trails. Yeah, I use that as my point and then figure it out.
Sometimes you'll have to old school map it. There's a few places out here that here's the map for it and the points, and you can get out the compass and do the old school way, which is fun to do, but it's more accurate than all trails because it's been done. So it's just, you can't rely on it. You can't. You just have to make sure
you. A different element to the GPS tracking, because now you're bringing a portable battery charger for your phone. Now you've got to make sure that if you're out there for a specific period of time, that you're able to charge your Garmin InReach, because if it's dead, it's not going to do you any good.
No.
So
that's a good point too, Ashley, because even if you're using all trails, it's running your phone constantly, and their battery will go real quick if you're using it. And then that's a whole other issue. And your Apple Watch dies fast too.
Oh. That's what I'm saying. I live in one of the most beautiful states on the planet. I will stand by that. North Carolina is beautiful.
Gorgeous.
There's so many trails. There's so many sights to see. But you know what? My happy ass is going to stay at home. I will totally watch all the documentaries.
I'll send you the pictures. It's okay.
Yeah, I appreciate that. That was actually one of the first photos. So I love. If you are out there listening to this or watching this, I love when you guys take pictures of your book in places, whether you're at a bar, whether you're at home, or if we're reading a book about missing hikers, you take a picture of you on the trail reading the book. So I really appreciate that. InReach has a great battery life. That's good. So one thing that actually did come up as well, which I'm interested in, I think it's going to be a similar discussion where everybody here is probably going to say well, I think it depends. But something that came up too was the idea of creating a social media page for the missing hikers. Because as we have seen, as people have said in the comments, people will exploit that. We've already talked about Dr. Voss very briefly, who believes that toenail clippings can find your missing hikers. How do we feel about creating social media pages for missing hikers? Do we think that typically warrants a positive response? Do we feel like, what is that noise?
I have no idea.
Okay, it stopped. Am I hearing things? There's like a whining noise. Anyway, it's probably Christopher. Thoughts on creating a social media page for missing hikers? Would you want, I think, again, I keep going off on tangents. I think this also warrants a conversation of, if you happen to go missing, how would you like your loved ones to respond to this sort of thing? Because Andrea had a conversation with her husband at the end of this book where she was like, give it a year, and if you didn't find me, I died happy type thing.
Pretty much.
Okay.
Well, I mean, let's face it. Facebook is the largest virtual graveyard in the world.
That is true. We learned that last year.
So I feel that having a social media page to a point can be very helpful, especially in this situation, because you have people who approach the trail from all over the world. Mm-hmm. They can be in the United States and decide to hike it. They can be in that state. They can travel from the other side of the country. As we've seen in this book, they can come from other countries and hike the trail. And so the only way to get that information out is to that large of an audience is social media. Yep. And so it's a catch-22 situation, because it's really the only way to get that message out there to the largest audience possible, because you're running into all of this red tape and bureaucracy from law enforcement agencies, state agencies, federal agencies, that what else can the families do?
Yeah.
These are the tools that they have available.
Yeah.
But also that's going to open up the door where there's going to be exploitation and trolls and false sightings and all of that.
It's also interesting too, and not to speculate, I'm still just, by the way, snacking on this green bar. Gabby was found of it. Yep. Gabby was found because of social media.
Yep.
Well, here's another thing too, and not to speculate about the missing hikers in the story, but I feel like the three of these guys would have wanted a different outcome if they had gone missing. I feel like some of them would have wanted that social media presence, but a couple others, or the other two or other one, would not have.
Right.
So I think it just entirely depends. Gigi, any thoughts on social media pages and whether or not you think they're worth it?
I can see the upside of them, but just because like how many documentaries I've watched and how many books I've read, overwhelmingly, I don't like the idea of social media pages for not just for missing hikers, but for like any sort of cold cases. Because I find that a lot of the times they tend to be exploitative, and there's a lot of people saying that they have, tips or know something, and then like it either leads to a dead end, or it's the person responsible for why that person is missing. Which I mean, I guess could be useful in a way if they use that to find potential suspects if it is foul play involved. But I don't know. I feel like it's too exploitative, in my opinion.
It definitely can be. Alyssa?
Yeah, I worry about the exploitation. I think that there are some good things that can come from it, but I would say in terms of the pros and cons list, the cons for me outweigh the pros a little. However, if I ever go missing and you guys stop talking about it, I will haunt you.
Alyssa wants us to continuously find her. Yeah, continuously keep looking for her.
Forever.
Love it.
Never give up.
Never give up. Kelsey?
I agree with the exploitation one. I think of it too from the angle that, and I don't know, because I think Andrea talked about it in the book, that it's hard, or for a portion with the ambiguous grief of like, for families to kind of like feel like they have some agency or like are involved in some way or like have been like out on a search or something, to like have that sense that like, oh, I've done something to like help find, in the case of hikers, which reading this book about nature, I'm surprised anyone gets found, but
yeah. Honestly, yes.
But to kind of like have that sense of like, for their closure of like, hey, like I did what I could. And so I would personally, if it was like, hey, I'm thinking of putting up a social media post, like I would hesitate to tell a family member, like, no, don't do that. And I am the opposite of Alyssa. If I go missing, y'all can try for a little while, but don't make it the rest of your lives, because I will feel like crap.
Yeah. I feel
Let me be gone.
I'll search for you till the ends of the earth, Kelsey.
Well, damn. You and me, Alyssa.
Kim, would you want a big social media page for you if you were to go missing on the PCT?
I think
specific.
it's visibility, like it's visibility, getting that face out there, and maybe you saw that person. But I do think, like everyone's saying, there's a lot of people exploiting it, and then the family or whoever's monitoring is wasting time kind of going through what's fact, what's fiction, and I think it can give wrong hope and that kind of stuff too. And I'm sure a lot of the agencies don't want to waste their time with it, having to filter through too, but you never know. I mean, I don't, like, some things can get solved, like people are saying in the comments, but I don't know. I told my family, I don't think they can technically declare me dead until 5 years in California, but I mean,
wow,
give it, yeah, it's a long time. So 6 months, a year, whatever, like, you're not going to find me if I'm out there somewhere, unfortunately. I think it's just, I don't know. I'm like, they got to think about it till they can declare me, I guess.
Interesting.
But,
yeah, I mean, the trolls are going to come out regardless. People are going to exploit. But as we've also seen in the comments, a lot of people have been found that way as well. Even if they just find, as morbid as this is, find your body, at least your family's able to bury you.
There's some closure. Right.
Nora brought up a good point too. So one of the perks of being a Patreon member is every month, at the end of the month, we do a watch party where we watch a documentary, and it's always a documentary that kind of goes along with the book that we're reading. So this month we watched, they called him Mostly Harmless on Max.
Wild.
So good. It's so crazy. Made me rethink about Trail Angels and having social media pages and talking about how has it ever worked. Yeah, it has. In that documentary it did, because somebody recognized him. But also, like we mentioned, Gabby Petito as well. I mean, a lot of people are able to. Everyone should join the Patreon. Thank you, Cam. Yes, please. It's a good time. But yeah, we watch something along the lines of what we're talking about, and that documentary was wild. If you have, I think I'm just going to call it HBO Max now. They keep changing their name. If you have HBO Max, please go watch that. That was a great documentary. Yeah, Mostly Harmless. That was a crazy one. Did you guys have trail names?
Yes. So people have trail names.
I know that. Did you have one?
I do not have one yet.
Okay.
Because you're not so I've heard like there's different stories. So either you can introduce yourself as your trail name to hikers, or you get your trail name while on the trail. And so I do not have a trail name yet.
Okay.
But I'm thinking about it.
Kim, do you have one?
No, I'm with you, Ashley. Like I feel it's something that you need to get. It needs to be given to you.
Right.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. I don't think you would have to explain it if you made your own up, right? To some degree. So I was like,
Exactly.
yeah. I want to know why people wanted to grant me that name.
And I think having it given to you is different because it's how other people see you versus how you see yourself.
Exactly.
I also, back to Kathy, I really hated how much it's so funny you say that, because that's where Mostly Harmless came from. They determined that that did come from Hitchhiker's Trail of the Galaxy. That's so funny you say that. Yeah, go watch that documentary. Back to Kathy. I hated how much she was getting hit on in this book.
Yeah, that was gross.
It really upset me how much that poor woman was getting hit on. You have a name sign? What does that mean?
So in the ASL community, you are given a name sign where it's that way you can you not have to spell your name out every time. So the school that I went to when I was little, the principal was a deaf woman, and so she gave all of us sign names, and so mine is an A with pearls.
Cute. And that's something that's determined by the deaf person. They kind of put that together. I love that. I love that. I feel like I just have to go buy patches. Everybody knows.
That's what everyone knows you as.
It's like when I moved to LA, they were like, Patricia, we can't call you Patricia. We have to call you something else. So that's my Los Angeles name. Gross. Yeah, that's like all I did. I remember, you know what's crazy is when I lived in LA, we went, it wasn't Runyon Canyon. We were at the trail near the Griffith Observatory. What is that called? There's a trail over there near the Griffith Observatory where you can walk up to it. Does it have a name? Anyway, I was wearing because I went to Statesville High, I was wearing a Statesville High tennis shirt because I play tennis. And somebody on the trail knew Statesville, North Carolina in Los Angeles. How weird is that?
It's because the world's not all that big.
The world's not all that big. Have you ever run into people that you knew on the trail randomly?
No.
That's a good thing, right?
I have not, just because a lot of my friends don't like type 2 fun. So I'm forced to go by myself, or I find my other friends who like type 2 fun. And so I do most of my hiking with my friends who like type 2 fun. And then I send my type 1 friends, hey, just in case I die, this is where I started.
Amazing.
And they're like, okay, but please don't die. And please share your location.
Right. Well, one thing that I know people in the Discord really wanted to talk about, and I know we've already touched on it briefly, was the Yellow Deli and cults as such. And one thing that I really wanted to stray away from, but I think it's something that's worth bringing up because, again, both of my chapter meetings have brought it up. I don't want to sit here and speculate what happened to these men. I don't want to sit here and try and create false narratives. But something that people have said was, I definitely think somebody could have fallen prey to the elements. Somebody else could have fallen, but one of these boys clearly went into the trap, I guess if you want to call it, of the Yellow Deli. Do we feel that that's accurate? Do we have any other theories if we wanted to talk about those, since these boys were not found? Thoughts on that?
Well, I do think one of them could very well have ended up in the cult community.
Yeah.
Because you go on the trail for your own reasons, depending upon whatever those reasons are, whether you want to find yourself, whether something major happened in your life, whether you lost your job. But I think one of them very well may have ended up in the cult community. But I think the other two, it could have been elements, wild animals. It could have been someone ran into someone not very nice. Because they're out there. Yep.
Gigi, any thoughts on the whereabouts of these men? Do you think what happened?
Well, I do have to go in a moment, so I will be saying goodbye in a second. But before I say goodbye, I do agree with, who did I just see? Tori, I think like Chris Sylvia did seem like he had a lot of, he was just kind of lost. Like he had like lost relationships. Even the relationship with his friend wasn't great before he left.
Yeah.
So I do think if one of them was to kind of go down that pathway of joining a cult, it would be him.
Totally. Yeah, I want to circle. Was it Min? Was his roommate?
Min, yeah.
Yeah, I want to circle back to Min. So let's put a pin in that. Alyssa.
Bigfoot. No, I'm just kidding. I do think that either Chris Sylvia ended up in the cult or was lost to the elements, and I think that that's probably what happened to the others. Just a freak accident or just force of nature, which is sad. It'd be like almost a peace of mind to know that something concrete happened. But unfortunately, we're not going to really get that, probably.
No.
So.
I don't know if Yellow Deli was ever the focus. I'm sure it was, but I don't remember.
I think they mentioned Yellow Deli in, what was that one? I'll put it in the chat when I figure it out.
Okay. Yeah, I don't remember. I want to say they were the focus of one of them. Kelsey, any thoughts, theories, agreements?
I was gonna say I have no theories because I will not lie to y'all. I read this book and was like on page 2, I'm like, they're not gonna find these guys, and I just accepted that they are gone to the universe. So yeah, I did not spend any time thinking of alternate theories. I will say, however, when I think one of the questions that you had put on the Discord or something was something about are you surprised or thoughts on the cult, and I'm less surprised by the cult and was more concerned and surprised by the amount of apparently really aggressive marijuana farmers out on the Pacific coast. I was like, huh?
That is a documentary that I have.
Concerning.
Yeah.
There was a documentary about that was interesting. I can't remember what it was, but it was a guy who stumbles on a weed farm and it was the weed farmers thinking that they saw Bigfoot or something like that. It was a really weird documentary, but it was great. It was very entertaining. I'll have to find that. A little bit. Oh yes. It might have been, yes, Alyssa, I think, because somebody else, Nora, also said yes, the cults and extreme beliefs, which wasn't also that didn't they also feature the church that we read about in Without a Prayer? Wasn't that also featured on that? I think it was. Annie, one of those. Put a pin in Min, and then there's something else I was going to bring up. But go ahead, Kimberly. Did you have a trail name, by the way, Kimberly? Did anybody give you one?
No. I only hike with one other two other people, so we haven't ran into a group to be let's So no, no, I do not have a trail name. It has not been granted to me yet. But
any theories, guys?
I want to say, it would be nice if he did join the cult and everything, and he's off living this whole thing. But I don't know. I think the elements got them. Perhaps, it's I don't know. We'll ever know. But when people are hot or tired, they go and hide under places or in places, and then they're not found. They hide under a rock, they hide in a tree, or and animals and all that. So it's unfortunate, but I think they're gone.
Yeah.
I think the elements got them. I want to hope that no one nefarious on the trail did anything, but you never know, right?
And the PCTs, the environments you go through all extremes on the PCT. You go through the desert, you go through the mountains, you go through the snow caps, the Sierras. You go through every potential environment, and you have to have different gear for those environments. You can't have the same gear in the desert that you need in the Sierras, because that's going to be a lot of weight on your back. So yeah,
that's a good point too, because you're not prepared to hike if you've never used crampons. You have to learn to use that in ice picks and different equipment. It's all,
you're going to carry the crampons and the ice picks and all the layers and stuff while you're going through the desert. No.
Yeah. So
that was so interesting to me, the constantly needing to throw shit away to save weight.
Everything everything ounces. Weighs something.
That's the thing. When we passed one of the PCT stations up in Donner, reading about it too, they have to maintain weight, You know, they have to look and see how much. They have scales at almost all the stops to just say, like, make sure they're not overweight, they're not too underweight. You know, there's food there. It's like the caloric intake is so much, and I don't think people anticipate how much they need to eat and hydrate to like just maintain on the trail too. So you can start very easy. Yeah,
and eat like people. So you try to go as light as possible, because if you're walking a long distance, you don't want 45 to 60 pounds on your back. I always overpack, unfortunately. So my pack's always about 37, 40 pounds, you know. So, and yeah, because it's a lot. But you know, they're always trying to get lighter and get lighter and get lighter. So you'll saw your toothbrush in half and only have like the little piece. You'll have people who won't bring deodorant at all, and they only have one set of clothes that they're going to hike 2,600 miles in. You know, anything that they can do. You got people getting rid of their stoves, and they're just cold soaking their food in containers. Like, it's,
oh yes, I've heard that. I try to do about 10% of my body weight, you know, just because I know it's like any more than that, it's going to be too much.
Yeah.
But they go out, and like you said, there's just it's always too much equipment, not enough anything, and it's too much.
Yeah. So the roommate Min, that's the one that told Sherpa, right? One of the Chris's, I think Sherpa, to like go take a hike. Literally, he was like,
go hike the PCT.
You need to like get out. And when they were supposed to meet up and he didn't, did we feel that it was strange that Min did not report him missing sooner, or did we feel like that was an appropriate time because Min's the one who told him to go out and like explore a bit?
I think he should have called way sooner.
I think he should have called way sooner, but I also think that
thank you, Tori.
Emotions that he was feeling, he was probably just done with the whole thing.
There was 2 Chris's, that's what I'm getting confused of. So okay, yeah, sooner.
I think it should have been sooner, but also they're both. He was angry because, you know, how that whole thing went down. So I think it should have been sooner, but wasn't in this situation.
True. Alyssa, how did we feel about Min's timing?
I think it's like, it's both understandable and bad at the same time, because while, you know, he was upset, they weren't on the best of terms, he's definitely should have said something sooner, especially since they were supposed to meet at that location and he wasn't there. I think that would have been a big sign. But at the same time, like everybody's saying in the comments, you know, it totally makes sense why he didn't. I just wish he had.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, for sure.
Kelsey, thoughts?
I'm the same. And Nora, I think, said it. I was going to ask to confirm because I could remember how old they both were, but I was thinking like early 20s. And I'm like, yeah, if my friend called I already have driven them to drop them off at this hike. They call me 4 days later and they're like, JK, pick me up. And like, I get there and then think in my head they've stood me up. Like, I'd be pretty mad as like a young 20-something-year-old. And I agree. Someone else said it, like hindsight, we can look back in 2020 hindsight and be like, oh yeah, like he should have called them immediately. But I also, like, I can get why he didn't.
Right. Kim?
Yeah, I kind of agree with everyone saying too, because as much as I'm like, oh, he should have made that call early, we should have done that, but there was a lot going on too. But it's unfortunate. I'm wondering sometimes always if that would have made the difference if he did call earlier. That's kind of where. But
and also I wonder like if it's wholly fair, because I think this is the Chris that we're all too like had the type of personality where if like someone joined a cult, it was going to be him.
It was going to be him.
Yeah.
And I imagine like Min would have had that vibe of him too. Of it's like, oh, he is just like
found his people. We're good.
Gone off to do whatever. Like.
Yep. That's a good point.
So that layer too, I'm like, I don't know if that's fully fair to be like.
Really, are y'all gonna read her other books? She has one about ghosts on the trail, haunted trail. I think she sent that one to me.
I want to just see if the style's a little different too.
Yeah.
I think that's why I'm
I was
interested in
literally
checking it out.
like leaning back, thinking, I don't know, maybe. And then you said ghosts, and I sat up.
They were
like,
all, what?
She sent me her other book, Ranger Confidential: Living, Working, and Dying in the National Parks. This is pretty interesting. And then Haunted Hikes: Spine-Tingling Tales and Trails from North America's National Parks. Which
oh, that sounds fun.
I don't want to read that.
yes, I think she.
I don't know when because I'm in 4 book clubs like a crazy person.
Who signed them?
Oh,
Oh, that was nice.
Oh yeah, she did.
2 batches. Yeah, this one. I've never opened this. For the dead yet still restless, for the lost and not found, you may be gone, but you won't be forgotten. So please don't hurt me. I've never read that. That's crazy. That's awesome. Yeah, I glanced through. There's a bunch of pictures in here. Oh, that's the Joshua tree. Mike posted that one in the Discord.
Oh, yeah.
Skull. Yeah.
That's so cool.
Ooh, interesting, Perla. I remember that studied at the Body Farm and worked with Dr. Voss. How was their opinions on Dr. Voss? Oh, you've read I'd read Haunted. Yeah. This one sounds super interesting. But the way that this one starts was pretty good. Because it's like her own personal experiences. It was just really interesting. So I would recommend.
Trail maps.
Yeah, it includes trail maps. And wait, what was that? This is actually a guide. The hikes. She has skull emojis over here. 1 out of 4 skulls. 4 says give me nightmares. 3 says I get chills just thinking about it. 2 is very disturbing, but clowns are scarier. 1 is makes 7-year-olds giggle. That's actually pretty funny. Yeah, that was Mike. Yeah. Interesting. So these seem pretty cool. I'm definitely gonna glance through these, and of course, very grateful to Andrea for sending me these. Especially this one. This one seems to be pretty. And what about the ranger they accused of accepting sexual favors from a confidential informant while on duty? I'm gonna read it. Add it to the list.
How was it over there? Smokies and the Blue Ridge Parkway.
Oh, Blue Ridge. I'd love to get married on the Blue Ridge Parkway. Okay, in the school, Dr. Voss is very respected, but the further away from that community, the worse his reputation is. Interesting. You know, I only read nonfiction. And you know, David, I love you for it. Even though if anybody has been following my Goodreads lately, you realize that I have not been reading a lot of nonfiction lately. It's been a lot of really weird shit as of late. Hence the Morbidly Curious Spicy Edition book club that has come up on the Patreon. We've been chatting for about an hour and 15 minutes. Any last minute thoughts? Anything that I did not hit that you guys want to hit on? We are both still just munching on this grape.
I can't stop.
I was totally expecting this to taste like absolute ass. Someone is doing a mood. Cam, it's so true. The mood reader is mood reading. Here are my notes for the meeting. I mentioned the 2 months in a row we had Dr. Voss appearance. We did. Yes, please send me a DM. That's so interesting. Thoughts and feels that I didn't mention? Anything else?
No.
Alyssa? Nothing?
Nah.
Kelsey? Meh? Kimberly?
No.
Meh? Discussion though. I mean, this was Gigi. I hate that I didn't realize that Gigi had to dip. So thank you, Gigi, for attending as well.
Still gonna go hiking.
The green bar kick in yet? I don't know what else is in the green bar. Did it? Got any other ingredients that we didn't know about? What if you and I are just sitting here munching on this thing?
I know.
You have a long drive home.
By opening it, you've joined the cult. You know, it's like a
Right. I really want to go to the Deli now.
Yeah, how much fiber is in that thing? What's in your future?
Fiber.
Is this like a power energy bar? Like, what are we doing here?
2 grams.
Oh, okay, it's not
I
crazy.
will say it does have a lot of sugar in it. 11 grams
Well, that's why
added.
it tastes so good.
It literally tastes like it's just a bar of peanut butter.
It does. Is that why? Total
I
sugar is
truly hate that.
interesting. No trans fat. Yeah, 6% iron. It's pretty interesting. I thought that they made them in house. I thought this was like, that's why I got confused when I picked these up, because I swore it was like a Yellow Deli delicacy. Yellow Deli delicacy. These are made up in Plymouth that they just order. Handcrafted at the Blue Blinds Bakery in Plymouth.
So maybe
I don't know
they
if
did
that's right.
The alliteration.
I don't know
They
if
like an alliteration.
they do. I'm assuming this is the right thing. So if this is not the correct thing, these are very good. I can attest to that. So thank you guys so much for hanging out. Please find your closest Yellow Deli. It's quite the experience. Get their Reuben. Get their Reuben and get a cinnamon roll. Because their cinnamon rolls are absolutely banging. And when you're there, please look at I'm assuming all the buildings are similar, but the way the one in Hidnight is set up, yes, like the Pilgrims. Why are you acting so surprised? That makes the most sense. Please find your Yellow Deli. Please take a picture. Send me a photo. I was going to post about it on. I need to post about it on Instagram. I'll send you some of the photos. But thank you guys so much for hanging out. I greatly appreciate all of your time. Next month we are reading our first, I think, repeat author.
Ooh.
I don't think we've ever done that before. We're reading The Butchering Art by Lindsay Fitzharris.
If you haven't read it before, it's really good.
I'm so excited. I haven't. I actually
It's
haven't.
so good.
It's so good. You're gonna love it.
It's always someone. It's always someone from that. Never heard of the Green Bars. Listen, apparently it is. So our next meeting will be where is the 27th. July 27th is going to be our meeting. We'll be here live, Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and we'll be chatting about this. This is our first repeat author. I'm super excited. I will say, unfortunately, I did not know this before picking this book. The audiobook is an Audible exclusive. I am so sorry. I did not know that. I know some people have been pretty upset about that. I totally understand. I did not know that. Apparently, it was already in my library. I'd already had it picked, so I did not put two and two together. But I really wanted to read this because, one, we love Lindsay Fitzharris here. She's a fantastic person and a fantastic author. And I'm very excited for her new book. I will say, too, unfortunately, I will not be speaking to Lindsay Fitzharris for the podcast in July. We're going to be reconnecting later on. She's busy at work with some life stuff and her upcoming book that I'm so excited to get in an arc of whenever I do.
Oh yeah, we can always hop up on a Discord voice call and I'll just read the book to people.
You can do that. You guys will pay you by the hour. Since I will not be speaking to Lindsay Fitzharris in July, I'll be speaking to her sometime in the foreseeable future. I do have a bonus episode coming out with Haley Rubenhold. We spoke recently, and she is the author of The Five and The Story of a Murder that just recently came out, which was a fantastic episode. She's so intelligent. I loved her so much. Just talking to her so much. She was fantastic. And yes, use your voice, Alyssa, please. I'm actually down for that. We'll just hop on voice.
I'll use my librarian voice when I will whip it out.
Oh, lots of caffeine in it.
Well, there we go. It's going to be interesting. I need to buy the trail though. Like, I'm serious.
You got to
These
drive
are
home.
Really good.
I will say the place where you buy these is connected to the Yellow Deli. It's not technically the Yellow Deli. So if we were to go right now, you would not be able to buy any of these. But you can have a cinnamon roll if you wanted.
Cinnamon roll sounds good.
They're so good. Anyway, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I appreciate all of your time. If we missed anything, please let us know in the comments. And we will see you guys in a month. If you're part of the Patreon, I'll see you here in about 30 minutes. Can I do math? 40 minutes to talk about a spicy book that we read. Spicy. We had a great conversation about Lord of the Flies too. I was super bummed you couldn't make it.
I totally slept through it because I forgot time zones were a thing. I was like, it's 5 o'clock my time. I have time to take a nap. And then I woke up and I was like, fuck.
I was so excited because I know you loved the book.
I do love that book. Sucks to your Asmar.
I get that joke now because I did read it. Anyway, if you guys don't mind hanging out, I'm going to end the stream. But thank you guys, and I will see you guys very soon. If you would like to hang out in the Discord, do a little palate cleanser, please do. And if you're part of the Patreon, I'll see you guys at 9 p.m. over on Zoom. Sign up for the Patreon. It's a good time. morbidlycuriousbookclub.com. It's all over our socials if you need it. But bye, friends.
Bye.